Hello and good day everyone. I am Rhea B. Clargo, third year BSB student of Negros Oriental State University, Gihungan Campus. This video contains information about corporate social responsibility from the past, present, and future. This output is a final compliance for BA 300, Corporate Social Responsibility and Ethics, under Ms. Angeli Gante Torres. Before we tackle what is CSR in the past, in the present, and in the future, let us define first what is corporate social responsibility or CSR. CSR is a management concept in which companies should play positive roles into the community, society, their employees, and to the environment, thus considering environmental and societal impact in businesses' decision making. Now, let's talk about corporate social responsibility in the past. The concept of CSR began in early 1900s, whereas in the form of charity works or donation done by businessmen. One example is on how the first community foundation exists, which is the Cleveland Foundation. This happened in 1914 when Frederick Gough, a well-known banker at that time in Cleveland, founded the Cleveland Foundation. Its purpose is to give power to the community by accepting gifts from multiple donors that will serve as support and will assess the needs of the community. In 1953, Howard Bowen, cited as the father of corporate social responsibility, connected the responsibility of corporations to society. With that, he published a book in 1953 called The Social Responsibilities of the Businessman. This book advocated business ethics and responsiveness to societal stakeholders. In 1970s, CSR began to take hold in U.S. government when the Committee of Economic Development declared the concept of social contract between businesses and society. This concept, the social contract, is based on the idea that businesses function because of public consent. Therefore, businesses have the obligation to constructively provide and serve the needs of society. In this concept, businesses are obliged to provide jobs and sustain economic growth of society. Businesses should be run fairly and honestly regarding employees and customers, and they should be broadly involved in improving the conditions of the community and environment in which they operate. Also, during 1970s and 1990s, models of CSR began in debuting. One of these models is the three-dimensional conceptual model of corporate performance in 1979 by Archie Carroll. These models help in making CSR less vague. By then, Carroll's definition of CSR was understood as a three-pronged approach. The first approach is companies adopted principles or ethics. Second is they created and executed formal processes on how they would respond in their principles. And lastly, the development of policies that helps in managing specific issues. These approaches brought together social responsiveness and business ethics into one field of study and performance. The ideas in 1980s to 2000s of CSR are prevailing, and CSR strategies took shape in this era. Businesses began to earmark resources for dedicated CSR departments and leaders. Nowadays, the leading companies have drawn on CSR principles to inform all manner of organizational decisions. Since over time, executives began to understand that their companies should not isolate these departments. So, with that, organizations have closely allied CSR with marketing, public relations, diversity and inclusion, and human resources. CSR plays a leading role in telling brand stories and attracting top talents. More importantly, brands have leveraged CSR to orient their company's purpose and vision. CSR today reflects a global mindset. Consumers no longer expect major corporations to keep just their backyards clean. Fortune 500 companies have taken public stances on climate change and have adopted CSR practices that look up and down supply chains. Companies have embraced a globalizing labor market with training and education programs that reach across borders to engage potential employees and younger generations. After all, businesses exist to provide value for all stakeholders, customers, employees, suppliers, and the global community, not just their shareholders. Going to the future of CSR, the future of corporate social responsibility holds exciting prospects for the world. Today's CSR trends and innovations suggest that CSR will play an increasingly important role in how companies approach business and engage communities. The Harvard Business Review, or HBR, describes corporate social justice as a reframing of CSR that centers the focus of any initiative or program on the measurable, lived experiences of groups harmed and disadvantaged by society. Corporate social justice requires deep integration with all of a business's core functions. As with past eras in the history of CSR, technology will continue to help CSR evolve. Social distancing requirements have already required companies to innovate and adopt virtual volunteering initiatives. Many of these initiatives will likely remain in place well past the current crisis. Technology will also likely disrupt major industries and create worker dislocation. However, leading companies will have an opportunity to address this dislocation through education and upskilling, creating value not only for their shareholders but also for society. Corporate social responsibility is an important concept for organizations. It brings positive perceptions for the company, for the businesses. It helps in attracting customers, employees, and investors. It also helps in having better brand and company recognition. Thus, it resulted to increase in sales, customers' loyalty, and creating opportunities to the community or society. CSR also affects organizations' growth and overall success. As the concept of CSR continues to evolve, organizations with the help of CSR will continue to improve in helping organizations to actively play their positive roles in society. That's all for today's video. I hope you learned something from it. Thank you and God bless everyone.